US Senator Bernie Sanders was asked what made him so sure that his version of socialism would really be that different from all the other versions that have been tried so far. Senator Sanders replied, "What happened and existed in the Soviet Union was not socialism. It was authoritarian communism." Is he right? What is socialism? What is communism? Are they meaningfully different? Or is this just one of those distinctions without a difference? Let's have a look at the history of those terms. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels used those two words interchangeably. To them, both meant the same thing, namely, a society based on collective ownership of the means of production, distribution, and exchange. However, while Marx and Engels did not distinguish between socialism and communism, they did draw a distinction of a rather different kind. They argued that the new society they had in mind would come in two different stages, a lower stage and a higher stage. The lower stage would be a system where the state owns the means of production and runs the entire economy. The higher stage would be a society in which the state is no longer needed. People just voluntarily work together for the common good without supervision and without the need for coercion. The most famous disciple of Marx and Engels, Lenin, later rearranged those words slightly. He used the word socialism when he talked about the lower stage of the new society, and he used the word communism when he talked about this more advanced stage. So in other words, for Lenin, socialism meant a state-run economy and communism meant a stateless utopia. That is what he meant when he said that the goal of socialism is communism. But he did not think of them as distinct ideologies. He thought of them as different stages of development within the same economic model. And this became the standard Marxist usage, and it still is today. That is the conventional and the technically correct definition of the term socialism. But of course, words can sometimes change their meaning over time, and there is sometimes also a difference between the way the dictionary defines a word and the way we use it in actual practice. And to some extent, this is what has happened here. In the post-war decades, quite a few people on the Western left quietly moved away from orthodox Marxism, and most of them ditched the word socialism. They just called themselves social democrats or liberals in the American sense instead. But others just can't bring themselves to let go of the word socialism. They keep it for old time's sake and awkwardly try to redefine it. But those people are not the problem. Their language may be a bit sloppy, but then this is not a linguistic seminar, so this is fine. The problem is that some actual socialists use this illusory distinction between socialism and communism as a way to distance themselves from failed socialist experiments. We all know the standard socialist excuse. That wasn't real socialism. Whether you label the Soviet Union not real socialism, whether you label it state capitalism, or whether you label it authoritarian communism, doesn't really make a difference in the end. They're all just different ways of saying real socialism has never been tried. So that means they're all just different versions of the same excuse.